Words, words, blah, blah. Talking, speaking, words, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Ooh, all right. Cool. All right. Well, there we are again. As I get used to this, hearing myself talk to myself with no one else around. Commentary, talking, speaking. Well, just a couple of things I wanted to talk about today. Consoles. Console gaming. Is it going to disappear? Why am I even bothering streaming and recording now? That's a good question, me. Why am I bothering with this? Do I think console gaming will continue? No. 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 At the prices they're going, I don't think it's going to continue. Not just the pricing, just where you see it heading. I think, internet changed everything. Internet changed gaming, internet changed access, internet changed our technological know-how. We're having generations of people grow up and now they know, technology a little better than, there are previous generations where, maybe people didn't grow up in a house with, a computer or a television, like our parents, and now we have just generations of, people. It's just, we have smartphones, we have televisions, we have iPads, we have tablets, we have this, we have that, we have everything, and so I think just everything's shifting in that regard. Guys, keep me up. So when it comes to, it's just fine. So I think there's just things are shifting, or it's just easier to, have a computer. I don't think the need for computers will ever go, and they will always be around. There's really, it's just going to continue. Consoles were there, I feel, for a time to really give people access to games that at a good price, but this day and age where everything's kind of like starting to mesh together, where the gap between consoles and gaming and technology are becoming so common that I think it's possible. I don't see it really, console gaming being as big as it was. I think it's probably the best way to put it. Because just with these shifts in the market, with PlayStation wanting to, all their exclusives are finally going to PC and Xbox now. I think it's just kind of just a sign of the changing times, where there's no real reason to not no real reason, but like, you got to really ask yourself, what's the point of getting these consoles? It's just a question you ask yourself. Why would I need a PlayStation now? If I don't have one, why would I need one? You got to ask yourself that question. Like, what problem am I trying to solve? Where any exclusives I want, now I can get them on my computer. Pay I know you're probably still going to pay a little more, but you know the access is still going to be there for something like that could do everything. You know, for a computer a personal computer that everyone can use, that everyone can go on, and you know that everyone's can, you know, you could stream, watch TV, you could, you know, yeah, you could do that on consoles, but you know, there's still some things that computers could do that the consoles won't ever catch up to. There's, you know, and you know, consoles were created for a very specific purpose. Oh man, I'm getting beat up. It's from my point of view. From my point of view, I'm sorry. And so I just think that things like that are just, everything's just shifting, market's shifting. Even like my friend groups, you know, people that I know, you know, whether they've been on PC or they're planning to change, they just, there's like that reason, like why do I want to stay on PC nowadays? What's the point for me? What problem am I trying to solve? I can play with my friends on PlayStation now. We have crossplay. We have, you know, for Xbox we have crossplay. You know, everything. There's nothing to really keep people, especially with the prices changing and you know Xbox raising their prices, PlayStation. You know, I don't think they can go any lower. You know, I just don't think it's where it's at. I think everything's changed. You know. You know, so just, you know, just my opinion, you know, I think console gaming is coming to an end, if not already, and it's not a bad thing. I don't think it's bad, you know. I think everything had its time, had its place, you know. I think it's in the best interest for game developers to release for PC. Why, at this point, there's no real incentive for them to just release on console, because how easy it is to have a PC and how easy it is to have access to just about everything from it, you know. And you have places, you know, companies like Nintendo, they have a console to sell, so they're not, I don't think they'll ever shift from that mindset. There's no real need for them, you know. But you know, I just think it's something it's going to disappear. You know, exclusives, you know, sell systems, and with that kind of disappearing for now, I don't really see them wanting to shift or change that. You know, even Nintendo's exclusives, you have the people who like it, buy it, yes, hey, more to you. You know, and you know, that's just their thing. That's where their friends are. That's where they play. That's where they choose to play. But the vast majority of people, bro, you're gonna find them in crossplay games, like on, you know, PC. You know, it's gonna be games that are crossplay. Most games are nowadays, which is good. It's something we've always wanted, and now everything's shifting to that direction. It's everything's changing, and I think it's good. I think what's changing is good. I don't really see the downside. You know, hey, you could have access and play with your friends more. What's wrong with that? You know. All right. This should jump at me. Yeah. So I think that just that major shift is gonna be it's already here. You know, I think. At most, maybe there's one more console generation, but even then it's, I don't find the incentive anymore. You know, to play PlayStation or Xbox, Xbox had Halo, had Gears of War, PlayStation had The Last of Us, had God of War, had, you know, what is it, Uncharted, it had all these games. But these games, I believe, if they're not already moved over to, you know, PC, they will, and they have been. And so it's just something that I think consoles eventually will vanish. I think the new exclusive market is probably going to be VR, because of how new it is. because it's just not. That's the next thing I think that's kind of has its exclusive market, you know, where no one's really making games for it, and the equipment and the money, the entry to get into it is it's really you know, you got to have your VR set, you got to have your controllers, you got to have space, you know, like you got to have room to move around, you know. That's something that it's considered. It's just the requirements just a little bit more for a VR headset, and you know, and then not everyone has one, you know. Not everyone, like, it doesn't translate well, you know, playing VR with people who are on console or on PC. It's just not something that's translated, or I don't know if it'll work or if it's possible in the future, or if it even would even be worth it. But I think that's probably the next exclusive market that's coming. Is going to be VR. That's what I would do. You know, if I was a big company, it's like, if you want to have exclusives, it's going to be in the VR market. It's not going to be in what this is now, PlayStation 5 and Series X. I don't think it's going to be there anymore. I think console, you know, handhelds will always have a place because people like playing games on the go. You know, I think that'll always have a place, but when it comes to just sitting down at home and after working or whatever, you know, it's I think that's going to change. I think that whole market will shift. You know, yeah, I think Nintendo has their handheld market. You know, we all might disagree on the quality of their games or whatever, but you know, it's the handheld market. You know, that's its own little niche. You know, but since everything's morphing together for console gaming and PC, there's really no reason to commit to buying a PlayStation or an Xbox at this rate, especially the pricing of Xbox. You know, so it's just, at this rate, you know, why buy something that'll limit you? Unless you have the money to burn, you know, which I get. If you got the money to burn, go do it. That's all, you know, it's your business, right? But when I think about it, that's just, I don't know, I think it's definitely a shift in the market, and I think it's good. I want to see it. I want to see VR take big steps forward, you know. I've played VR, I've had fun, I had a great time with friends and stuff like that, and it's great. You know, I think it has a lot of potential of what it could be and what it should be. Oh man, these guys are surrounded me. Better get back over here. Safety. Help me! Help me!
Units are running out of time. How close are you to the refuel facility? Entering the refinery. You are making good time. We are going to need it.
But yeah, I think it's great. I think what's going on is good. You know, not the layoffs that will happen or anything like that, which it's coming. You know, there's going to be more layoffs. I don't think that's good, but you know, that's what it is for an entertainment industry. Unfortunately, the entertainment industry has a tendency to shift, and it shifts in the favor of where people are spending their money, and it's unfortunate. You know, like, you can't expect these big companies to treat their employees well, you know, and they're going to treat them the way big companies have always treated people. It's nothing new. It's nothing exclusive to the gaming industry. It's everywhere. And when you have you know, I don't agree with them, you know, with how they treat employees and how they're kind of used and abused that way, but it's expected, you know. It's expected, you know, that's what's going to happen. When you're working at these, you know, big companies, you're kind of just a number in reality. It's unfortunate. It's the nature of it. Working for corporations, you know, it's what it is, I think. And I just, you know, just as a consumer, I guess. Someone who just consumes games, man. I just can't get away from it. You know, I just enjoy it so much. But I think it's great. I think where it's shifting is really good. I think it's going to be worth seeing it in the future. We'll see what happens with everything. I'm excited for it. I think, yeah. Let's see. As for what I think is also kind of hurting these markets, you know, is like the whole situation of, man, this dude's beating me up. I don't know how big of an impact the scalping market is having on the current console generations, but I think because of their name brand, it does attract a lot of them. You know, more so than when you look at just normal computer components, you know. I'm sure they has, you know, maybe there's a little more that I don't understand, but when you're talking about like when the next consoles that come out, you know, if these companies don't do anything about, you know, the scalping market, where I felt like it was 2 or 3 years before I finally got a PS5, just because of how difficult it was to find one during, you know, yeah, it just kind of hit, you know, during COVID, and then, you know, all those changes for them. I mean, it was tough to just find one, but the scalping sure, you know, made it a whole lot worse. People just using bots to purchase these consoles, which just made it difficult to even get. So I think this console generation just kind of started off all bad. But for the most part, yeah, I just wanted to just mention that just a little bit, you know, how that worked out for everybody. As for
back on track.
That dude hit me.
Drive train resumed. Begin the course of locomotion methods. Intercept the swarm during generator 4.
Oh, gotta go.
Progress is progress.
Run.
Punish the ignorant iconoclasts.
As for, you know, streaming, recording, you know, in such a, what I think is, it's a saturated market. It's not a breaking news to anybody. There's so many people, so many content creators out there, so many genres, so many subgenres and niches that, you know, it's, you look at the whole situation where it's some question I've asked myself, like, why bother at this state? What's the point of even getting into commentaries or, you know, reviews and, you know, podcasting and in such a saturated market? I think it's something that growing up, you know, I always enjoyed playing, always enjoyed, you know, the games and, you know, just playing with friends, the stories, things like that. I just enjoyed games for what they were back then, just something fun to play and, you know, to stay out of the heat during during the summertime. It was like 100 degrees outside or whatever, and I didn't really want to go outside, or no one really did, you know, who does, right? Yeah, and it was just something that was there, rain or shine, you know, sleet, snow, and it was fun. I've always enjoyed it, I still do. It's something I always think that, you know, at times I'm too grown up to do. But I always come back, come back to play. And so it's fun. I enjoy it. And I think that when it comes to it, it's just something I think it's interesting. I get to play the games that I want to play, and I have it's a little added challenge to, playing something normally or by myself, learning to, record or, commentate or just talk about certain things with no one around. It's something that I see, because I'm normally, when I think about it, I'd hear these YouTubers and they're talking, they're commentating, they're joking, they're just like so animated. It's just cool, it's entertaining. I enjoy it. I enjoy watching it. And I think about it, like when I normally play games, I'm just kind of like very stone-faced, very just like, keeping all my thoughts and opinions to myself, because I'm by myself, and it's something that, I was like, you know what, I want to, learn how to do that. Oh, no. I think it'd be fun. Not that what I have to say is, super. There's no real hot takes here, or anything super, change, like it's gonna change the whole space. It's just, normal conversation that or thoughts that most people have, and just, I think I just like the extra challenge of, just doing it, of saying it, speaking it while I play, or just talking about it. I don't really have a whole lot of friends or family who I could talk to about this stuff. It's not interesting to them. They have their own interests and stuff, and anyone who I know, wow, this guy's getting me, who plays games like this, it's very just, I like breaking into like the deeper parts of it, the deeper parts of games and gameplay. It's just what I enjoy. Some people enjoy games for their surface level, which isn't bad. It's not wrong. They're not playing it wrong. They're not doing it wrong. I just enjoy diving deeper. That's it. I just enjoy the deeper conversations about games and how they work and what they use to make them, and I enjoy hearing it and talking about it, or seeing what's going on and why they chose to make these decisions, or what they choose to do in the future. That's what I enjoy. This is, growing up in high school, there was people who could tell you every football player on every team for how long they were there, or their stats and where they're being traded. It's they liked to get into the deep parts of that sport. I respect that. Go to the games, go to this. Yeah, I get it. I understand it. This is just something that caught my eye. I think growing up back in my day, it was something that growing up in my day, it wasn't something that was what's the word I'm looking for? Just wasn't looked well upon, I think. Still isn't, by, I think the generation before us, just kind of like, games are a waste of time. You're lazy, all that stuff. You're lazy. It's like, it's not going to be your future. I remember hearing, if you would only apply yourself to school as much as you'd apply yourself to these games, you'd actually do something, or you'd have better grades. I heard it all, But it's their own personal. I get it. I understand what that means and why they're saying it. They weren't wrong to say that. I get it. I understand what it is and what it looked like back then. It wasn't what it is now. You didn't make money like there's that now. You could make money playing games. You can do esports. You can do content creation. You can talk. You could. Oh man, let me get this handshake. He's agreeing with me. You get the content creation, the high level of play. It's nothing I've never been particularly good at games or doing really well. I've always just really enjoyed them, for what they were, and what they are is just something really good. I enjoy it, and so I think that's why I'm just starting to do this now. I'm starting to learn how to do it. I think it's you know, just to kind of
We stand ready to deliver the Emperor's vengeance.
just do something I've always wanted to do,
Again,
or
we need
something that
that
I've
bomb
always
trigger
wanted to
for
try
optimal
and take
view.
it, you know,
Orbital scan
seriously,
estimates the bulk
you
of the
know, and
swarm
not
will not be in position for a
get
while
discouraged
yet.
along the
Keep
way,
your
or
heads and get it
want
done.
to, you know, have such a high expectation of what it should look like, and just enjoy the process of doing it. I think is what's different now. It's just like I just want to enjoy it for what it is, and just enjoy just getting to talk, even if it's to, you know, to no one. Just a chance to, you know, get my ideas out there
Hold the line.
and just talk, which I think is good. It feels even therapeutic at times to just talk about it. I think that's why so many people do it, you know, just to get a chance to kind of have like a, you know, an open diary, you know, of what your thoughts on of something are and how that's going. You know, there's, you know, yeah. So like just watching some of these YouTubers and streamers just doing what they want, you know, or what they love, just, you know, talking about games. That's such a cool thing. Such a, like, wow, they just, that's their life. They turn on the computer and they talk about games. It's, man, I want to do that because I love games. I have so much fun, you know. I have so much fun doing, like, just hanging out with friends, and, you know, why not record it? I don't know what the odds are, you know, but I have fun doing it. So why not? You know, why not give it a shot? Why not just do it, you know? Who's to say it's wrong, you know? Just keeping it simple, but yeah, that's good. That's why I think that everything's changing, and, you know, I think it's cool that how accessible it is now. Being able, I know you're gonna get the mass waves of people that you disagree with, or they just don't agree. But that's, again, I don't think anything is exempt from that. Exempt from that corruption, that, you know, those, you know, the bad things that tend to happen in these where money is. You know, it's going to attract all sorts of people. Unfortunately, it's going to attract good, bad, and ugly people. But it's still something that, you know, once you sort it out, it really changes, you know, once it gets sorted out. So, I think it's fun. I think it's great. Oh man, getting messed up. Oh, I should probably drop this one. Yeah, I forgot I had that. I'm just trying to do things the hard way. What happened? We should have dropped it earlier. Sounds like Jumanji. Alright. Well,
you are clear to detonate. Cook those rotten bastards.
I think that's it. Well, alarm hit it just in time. I got stuff to do. Oh, alright. See ya.